going on, everyone? AJ, back for day 2 out of 23 days of posting. 23 days, 23 videos for my 23 years of life. We are starting this challenge, this journey to show consistency for myself, show some consistency for the life that I want to live, and develop my communication skills, develop my ability to be able to communicate better and learn different strategies of what works and what doesn't work. So if you are an individual who is looking for a different challenge, a different journey for yourself, something that you want to try out a little bit different, feel free to try this challenge out with me. There's a lot of people that will not get started with something. The first thing that I want to get into today is I want to ask you about something. How many of you are oh my gosh, bro! I got gas stove, right? And I almost caught my hand on fire. And that's one thing that's going to be about what I'm going to be posting about as well. Is I'm going to post whatever I want to post. I'm going to post the raw portions of it. What things that is happening, what things that are going on, what things that I am doing, and what things I'm not doing. Right now I'm doing some cooking. But each time throughout these videos, there's going to be a message in it. And not like one of those motivational messages, and not one of those messages that has like hidden agendas or something that I haven't actually been through myself. And so today is the actual conversation of fear of judgment and being worried about what other people would really think, when you make content, when you're living your day-to-day life, whatever it may be. Now, I just want to ask you, how many times have you stopped yourself from doing something because you're afraid people aren't necessarily going to like it? You think people aren't necessarily going to agree with what things that you're doing. They're not going to accept the things that you're doing. But also think about the fact is, what if nobody was watching you to begin with? What if there was no one actually behind those videos watching the videos that you're making? What if no one was actually watching the performance that you're doing, or if you're on stage for speaking, what if nobody was in the audience watching? What if you were playing football and no one was in the crowd watching exactly what you're doing? How would you act? How would you play? How would you be? And that's more of what I want to talk about. And if you're somebody that is particularly worried about what others will think about you, how they'll view you, I believe this video is for you. I'm still learning the whole area of judgment in general. I grew up thinking that judgment was something that is always, around, that people are always paying attention to all the minute details that is going on, in your life, in life in general. And I'm not going to just make up a fact that, people don't care, people this, that, and the third, but I've truly never witnessed that. It feels like from my perspective, from my life, there's a lot of people that do watch, what I do, watch what I say, and remember a lot of the things that I am saying or doing. So in my head, I always believe that, man, if I do this decision, if I do this, they're not going to respect me. If I do this, they're not going to respect me. If I do this, they're not going to pay attention to me anymore. But over time of me just consistently posting and me just consistently talking to people in my day-to-day life, I'm starting to notice that the more just real that I am and the more honest opinion that I that I have and how authentically I'm doing something, they respect it a little bit more. And so I'm trying to get out of this bubble of not being worried about what others would think. But why did I have this thought already in my head? Why is this already with me? Well, one, because I wasn't always the most popular kid, right? And I know we hear that story a lot, like I was a nobody, this, that, and the third, like I had no friends. I didn't have no people around me, no people in my corner supporting me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't really the case for me. You know, yes, I didn't have the most friends. When I was growing up, I changed schools. I was a part of one of the newest like elementary schools that went up in my area. So it's still just like getting to know a lot of people. So it was a little bit different. But it wasn't like I couldn't find some people. But it wasn't a part of the group that I thought was important, so to speak. I wanted to be a part of the rich kids, the so-called like popular groups. Because they had their little cliques, they'd go to parties, they'd hang out with, yeah, it'd be elementary school, but they had little group parties and whatnot. I don't know how they did it, but they'll have little events and all that, but they would all unite together and do whatever they were doing, and it just seemed so fun to be a part of. And I didn't really have that. So in turn, I ended up being shy. I could never speak out. I didn't want to go up to them and interrupt and like be a part of a conversation that I felt like I didn't fit in. I didn't feel that I can relate to any of them. So there was nothing that I could even talk to them about necessarily. So I didn't know what to do, so I left it alone. So growing up, I always kept that thought process, and in turn, I always tried to do something that would make me stand out a little bit more. And things ended up turning a little bit around when football came around. Being an athlete, you get a little bit more attention. Ended up going to play college football. Started getting, some more respect for some people. But over time, I'm not going to be in football forever, aka like this position that I am in now. So long story short, I felt that the only reason people would listen to me was because of football. And I had to get out of the thought process of people will still listen to me now, regardless of me being in football. People will listen to me because of the life that I've been through, the things that I've done, the experiences that I've been through, being in the military for a little while, going into football, traveling the world, living in almost 4 different states at 23 years old. So there's a lot that I believe, but there's a lot of things that I want to try out. But because of this reputation that I've built, there are some things I don't want to post out there, or some things I don't want to say, because I feel like I'm going to lose some of the respect that I, worked very hard to build up. So I'm still getting out of that funk. AKA another reason why I wanted to do this 23 videos and just post and just get my information out there. Ultimately, I know that everyone is having their own life. Everyone is having their own things they have to deal with. Everyone's having their own problems, their own girl problems, their own family problems, their own personal problems. That things are so stressful in their own lives that they're not worried about you. They're not fully worried about what you got going on. The friends that you grew up with since middle school, they got their own stresses, girlfriends, situationships, their own little cliques, friendships that they're building now, their own family struggles. They're having all of these things going. They ain't worried about you. And I'm also the guy that's, asking people how they're doing all the time, checking in on people, being there always for people. But I know ultimately it's not the same, because people don't think the way that I think, and that's okay. And so if people aren't thinking the way that I think, that I'm so called around, I want to start posting the way that I think on here and find the other people that think like me. That's the plan. This is a community. This is a group of people that should be built together. You should find the other people that closely similarly think like you. But don't be afraid to be a little different. Don't be afraid to be just authentically you. You don't have to be the same like everybody else. So I'm trying to get out of the fear, or I am getting out of the fear of just worrying about what I believe things wouldn't be good. If I don't believe this video would do well, and then all of a sudden I get 50K views on TikTok, it's just it's a crazy world. Do whatever you want to do. Be whoever you want to be. And I'm going to do it right alongside with you. There are so many things that can just be changed around if we just put things into action. Last thing is, every time that you just let fear get in your way, every time that you let this scary thought, this worrisome thought get into your head, and the more that you consistently think about it, the more you will fear it, and the more scary it will be. As soon as your mind locks onto this fear, your brain will send you more thoughts like it. That's why when you get worried about, let's say if you're in school and you think you're going to fail an exam, you start thinking about what's going to happen after that. Oh, if I fail the exam, well, I have to tell my mom and dad. If I fail the exam, oh, what's it going to be like with class? Am I going to have to speak to the teacher? Am I going to have to take this exam again? Am I going to pass the class? There's so many things that come up when you start thinking of fear. So imagine if you're fearing the judgment over your haircut. Imagine you're fearing over the way that you smell because of the colognes that you particularly like. You will never move forward. You will always be stuck in this particular zone that you're in. Don't fear it, bro. Just embrace it. I hope you guys stick along with this 23-day journey with me. And I hope you guys do something with it as well. I hope you guys find some closure for some things yourself too. I will see you guys here in this next video. Y'all let me know what things you specifically want me to touch on. But ultimately, I have my agenda. There are things that I will post about, but I will touch some points that you guys want to hear about and maybe want some guidance on. But for me right now, we're chefing it up.